Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 170. Today I'm going to talk about Police Precinct. This is from Common Man Games. It's their first game, I'm pretty sure. It's a co-op game, plays 1 to 6 players. I have played it solitaire. It works fine solitaire. You just play with a couple of police cars. Basically the idea is that you're going to be driving around town trying to investigate a murder that's just happened, and then at the same time also dealing with kind of the day-to-day crime, street thugs, traffic accidents, fires, crazed gunmen at donut shops, all kinds of good stuff. Let me just show you quickly how it works. It's relatively straightforward co-op, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think about it. Okay, I got the board set up here. It's kind of a large board. I've got my camera here zoomed out at the widest angle lens. It does take up a good amount of table space. You can see I've got 2 cop cars sitting here outside the police precinct, the station there. Players will be able to choose from a variety of different officers here. They got different statistics here, basically how well they do at investigating crimes, or more of a detective, that kind of thing. This is how good they are at making arrests, sort of your day-to-day activities, and then dealing with emergencies there as well. And then you can see we got Officer Joe Kinney here, and he's got a car that we put out here, and he's got a normal car as well as sort of a undercover car here. And so when you have a regular police car like this, you're going to be able to move a little bit further. But if you're in sort of your plain clothes car here, you're going to be able to do investigations. You get a little bit of a bonus that way. So everybody's going to start out here in front of the police station. And then basically at the start of the game there's been a murder. So if we take a look over here, we can see we've got a deck here of crime scene evidence cards. Inside of here is going to be shuffled some cards here. Most of these are going to say nothing yet, but you're going to want to go through and then dig up and find these evidence cards. You'll go ahead and make dice rolls and apply modifiers to find those cards. And then somewhat randomly over here I've outlined the murder weapon was found here. You've got a similar deck of cards. You've got a lot of stuff with nothing yet, and then you've got a weapon that you'll find there. Here's an interview a witness there, and then over here at the morgue, this is always in the same spot, place to examine the dead body. The murder weapon and the witness that you're going to interview are randomly distributed to different warehouses and apartments there. So here I've got a turn track here. You can see here in a 3-player game we'll start at turn 8, and then I go ahead and just stick the murderer here just so we don't lose track of him. And then at a certain point the murder will actually come onto the board, and if we've gathered enough evidence out of the various different decks, we'll be able to go and try and make an arrest. But the number of turns is based on the number of players. So if you have a 2-player game, you're going to get like 20 some turns, or if you have a 6-player game, you only get like 7 or 8. So in addition to the main board out here, you've got 2 other boards you're going to keep track of here. The first one here has to do with the murder investigation. This is sort of your pinup board that you would see like in a detective's office, and you've got places here for the various cards that you're going to find. So when you find the murder weapon, you're going to put that here. When you get the autopsy report settled, you're going to put that there. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to the scene of the crime or the different areas, then try to get the cards out here. So you're going to place these and fill these up here, and then once you get it all filled up, then at that point you're going to kind of know who the murderer is. He's going to show up on the board, and then you'll be able to track him down and arrest him, with your hard evidence that you've discovered here. The other track here, this is the Commonville crime track, because this is the little town of Commonville. And so you're going to need to watch this here, because if there's 2 ways you can fail basically. If you get all the way through all the turns, you haven't arrested the murderer, he's gotten away, then you guys didn't do a very good job. And then the other thing is, if you can't keep sort of the day-to-day crime in check, street punks, urgent emergencies, different things like that. Different street gangs may form if you allow punks to sort of coagulate in an area. Different activities are going to drive this crime marker up. Then if that hits fail, then you lose. Now, depending on the number of players, you're going to deal out these little loyalty status cards here. And you can see this one says you are a dirty cop, and this one says you are a good cop. And if you're playing with sort of the traitor here with this dirty cop, then if the other players lose, you have too much crime, or the murder gets away, then the dirty cop's going to win. Now the rules say that you should only play, let's see what it says here, with the dirty cop if you have 4 players. Now that's not stopping you from playing it with 3 players if you want to make the game more difficult, or playing without it if you've got like 5 or 6 players to make the game a little bit easier. And I will say that the game does get quite a bit easier as you add more players, so I can see why they have the dirty cop aspect. It's relatively easy co-op. It's not 100% winnable, but it's one of the easier co-ops I've played. You know, especially as players kind of learn how to, you know, navigate with the different cop cars and where to go. I'll explain that here in a second. But the rules do give you a large amount of special things and little rules and variants and things that you can do to adjust the difficulty. And they do make sense, and I would say definitely after your, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd play, then I would say to play with that a little bit. Or even if you're playing with less players, throw that dirty cop in there with 3 players, you know, and kind of mix it up a little bit. So the game does also come with these nice little cheat sheets here. So let me just break down a turn very quickly. It's pretty simple. First thing you're going to do is move your car. Now you can move your car 3 spaces if it's a regular, you know, police marked car. That's the word. I'm trying to remember the word. So you can move it 3 spaces. And this confused me. The first time I played this, played it totally wrong. So 3 spaces is basically 3 streets. I was including the intersections, and rereading the rules, I'm probably just an idiot, but you know, maybe other people will misread that. So basically, you're going to go 1, let's say 1, 2, and then, you know, 3 down here somewhere off camera. But I was including the little intersections there, so that totally, you got to play that right. Anyway, when you move with the regular car, you can move 3 spaces. If you move with the unmarked car, then you can move 2 spaces. And then the next thing you're going to do is perform an action. I'm going to skip that now because there's a lot of possible actions, but that's really, you know, the meat of the game. And then after that, you're going to draw a police card and then an event card. And now the police cards, there's a large deck of these. There are not too many different varieties of these, but this is really one of the nice aspects of the game. I really enjoy this. So as you draw these here, you're going to get these. You're going to be able to play these for an event on your turn, but you can also see you've got different various icons here. Now these icons here match the different abilities on all of the different police cards. So what that means is you can hold these cards for the event, play them for the event, and then, or you can choose to assist another officer. So if another officer is maybe, you know, dealing with an emergency, making an arrest, doing an investigation, you can play that and give them a little bit of an assist there. Or if you're the bad cop, not play it. And then, you know, and then that's the cards are kind of dual purpose there. I really enjoy something about cards that do more than one thing. I really enjoy because it really just automatically adds interesting decisions to the card play. You know, so I really like that they've included something like this, and it fits with the theme where you're kind of like, okay, I've got this, you know, a little thing I can kind of do off of my own, but you know, we're a team, we're a police force, and we're trying to help each other out and solve this case and kind of take care of crime today. And so I really like this aspect of the game. And after drawing a police card, you may draw an event card. And there's a variety of these. Some of these are purple here, which is basically you just kind of do the event, you know, something bad happens. You can see there's a little gas leak here. And then you're going to have several of these emergency cards. And if you look here, these emergencies sort of have a color-coded you know, indication there. So this one is a emergency at the intersection of First and Vassal. There's a traffic accident there. So we're going to take a look at the board here. We'll find First and Vassal. That's over here. So we can take here and put this card here where the you know, the emergency is. And then we need to be careful because if we draw another green one, basically another traffic accident, here's a emergency at the intersection of 2nd and Vassal, like that. So that means now we've got 2 green ones out. Well, that's not good because once we draw a second of the same color, we're going to take this urgent marker and put this on here. So if you draw a 3rd green one, then what's going to happen is you're going to fail this emergency here, move the urgent marker to the 2nd one that you drew, and then we're going to tick up the crime marker here. So we're going to get closer to failing because, you know, we've allowed too many traffic accidents. Now the other way that you can fail that is if, let's say, we had the 2 green ones out here, then I drew you know, 1 yellow one and then another yellow one. So this one now becomes urgent, and then this one fails. So you really got to get a handle on these emergency markers, or else, you know, the people won't be too happy with how you're dealing with crime in the town. Now another really fun aspect of this is you can see we've got an unknown circumstances spot there. So we've got here suicidal employees here at the booth tower. So we're going to take one of these, we're going to put that there. We're not going to know what that is, and then when we get there, we're going to reveal that. So now we've got suicidal employees wielding a shotgun. Or in this case here, we've got counterfeit at the warehouse, and some punks. So there's some punks there. And then we've got our arsonist here, and he's respecting uniformed cops. Okay, so that means the guys that show up with with a marked car get a bonus. Or we've got a arsonist here wielding a big knife, or all kinds of good stuff here. Now, one of the things that can happen with these cards is you're going to get these little street punk markers here. They may start coagulating on spaces here where you can see there's a Bad Hood number 5 here, and so these guys are going to start collecting. If you get too many of these here, then you're going to draw a street gang from the street gang deck here, and then these guys are going to form, and then these guys are going to be, a lot more dangerous, and you have to deal with them. And you deal with them by arresting them. So let's talk about some of the actions you can do. So one thing you can do is you can move your car over here. Let's just put these 2 cars here. You can investigate one of these stacks. It's like an investigation. Basically, you're going to draw cards equal to your investigative ability there. You draw a bonus card if you're undercover, or unmarked, I should say. If there are other players here, they're going to allow you to draw an extra card. Other players can play these police cards here. So if you play any police cards with investigative icon on them, they can play that on you. They don't have to be in the same spot here. Then you're going to draw some cards here, and then you'll take any that you find. Here, we found some good stuff here, so we're going to keep these, and then and then we're going to actually discard one of these bad ones. If there's nothing yet, we'll get rid of one permanently, and then we're going to shuffle all the other ones back into the stack. So you have to spend some time investigating here. So you can do that at any of the different stacks on the board. I should say you can add donuts. You'll get these as rewards here, and you can add donuts to basically enhance any of these different actions I'm talking about here. And here you can try to arrest street punks. What you're going to do is you're going to add up these here, and then you're going to add bonuses for other cards, and again for cards played. You're going to roll dice, and then you're going to look at the number here, and one that's higher than the total number is going to eliminate a street punk. So in this case we have a 5 here. There's more than 4, so we'll take that. Now it's going to be easier for the next time to come here. So there we got 2 4s, and those are both higher, so we're going to take those, and we're going to keep the street punks down. Emergencies are kind of the same. You may have some modifiers here based on this thing, but you're basically trying to equal to or greater that number, and you get some rewards here. You can see you get a donut there, etc. So you're trying to beat that number there, and then deal with the emergency like that. And again, you can play cards to add to dice that you're going to roll. Other players will help you with dice rolling, etc. You can add donuts, spend donuts to add to a dice roll. If you're at the base here, you can use your action to upgrade your character, and these could do all different things here. It might be hard to read. It says you may move your car 1 extra street. Emergency, you may roll extra emergency dice. So you can have one of each of these. There's a few of each of these kinds, so you can do that for your action. You can actually just draw a police card if that's all you want to do to get extra cards in your hand. Okay, hope you enjoyed the overview. This is a game, I really like this game. Let me just point out a couple of negatives, I guess you could call them, before I get into what I really like about it. The game does get kind of samey after a bit, where all you're doing is kind of digging through stacks of cards to find cards to put on the pinup board, and then trying to deal with the the different emergencies and stuff that come up. And it just sometimes you can get sort of bad luck with the with digging through those cards, so that can be a little frustrating. And like I said, with more players it's a lot easier because you have people just kind of camped at an investigation site, and you can have more people just kind of dealing with all of the emergencies and handling them that way. The production quality is like a little bit iffy, but it's not too bad. It's just like the tokens aren't double-sided or anything, but the artwork's really good. I like the artwork on the board. And getting back to that sameness, I wish there was more than just that main investigation. Now, as a base game, I think it's just fine, and it introduces you, to these concepts which are really cool. Like mechanically, everything is really cool, but it's like always this murder, and the weapons, and the witness are always random, but the other 2 places are always the same. So you can be you can get kind of lucky there, where they're by each other. You could have the weapon by the witness, and just kind of keep going back and forth there and digging through the cards. It would be cool if you had something that was sort of like almost like a campaign aspect, and I think they could easily do this because the core of the system is really good. where you could sort of investigate like a mafia kind of thing or organized crime element. You know, they've got the punks there that can kind of tie into that somehow. So that would be kind of neat to sort of a little bit more of an investigative feel, where instead of just digging through a stack of cards, you had to sort of, I don't know how you get away from that, but you kind of piece together and sort of, you know, figure out the crime syndicate or figure out like how to destroy a drug operation or something, some kind of big crime like that. But I think as a starter set, this is perfect how it is, because you wouldn't want to get too cumbersome and, you know, ham-fisted with all of this extra stuff on top. Now, all that said, I really enjoy the game for the theme and what it is, because I don't think there's any other cop games out there where you're in the city, you're on the beat, you've got this, you know, big event that's happened. You know, it does remind me of sort of like a CSI or Law and Order, where you've got your main storyline, and then sometimes they have sort of that sort of subplot case, and that's what kind of those emergencies are and things like that. I really like that, and there's no game like that. And I think this theme is what really saves it for me, because when I sit down and play this, I get right into the theme, I get right into the environment and everything that's going on. All of this stuff is super flavorful, you know, it just is. So I really like that, and I would like to see more added to it to really take it to that next level of something that, you know, would get played a lot. You know, because I think as it is, there's definitely less than 10 plays in here. You know, you add the dirty cop in there, and that's gonna spice it up a little bit with that aspect to it. But you know, I think that they could really come out with like an expansion that adds like several different cases or something like that, or different types of crimes that you can investigate. But it's not. I'm sounding like I'm kind of coming down more than I'm being positive. I'm definitely more positive than negative on this for sure. And it's, for a first effort, a first game, this is excellent. I mean, the components are great. It was a Kickstarter game. You know, to me, it's a banner of what a Kickstarter game should be. You know, it's a new theme that, you know, maybe most companies would stay away from somehow. Maybe they wouldn't think it's very popular. But I think this is a game that if you had, you know, cop friends, and I do, not locally, but you know, some of my friends from school and things that I've kind of kept in touch with, I wish I was with them so I could play this with them. I think they would get a kick out of it, because it's really neat. It's fun. It makes you. It has the whole teamwork aspect of where you can play cards. You kind of travel together. You kind of say, okay, we're going to go over here and do this, and then, you know, we'll go here and do that. And so that aspect of it's really, really nice. So anyway, the theme of it is really what brings it in, because I think if it was some other theme, it was like, you know, go here, roll some dice, draw some cards, I'd be like, I don't know. But because of the theme, what it is, and, you know, that would be really good. And as I said, it's a little bit easy. But I would definitely take a look at adding, having a brain fart here. There's a couple of different things you can add to make it more difficult, and I would definitely add those in after your first play or two, you know, once you kind of get the hang of it and how the flow of the game goes. So there's a lot here. Definitely recommend it, especially if you have, you know, police friends and things like that. Definitely take a look at the game. So Police Precinct, I hope they, you know, get some support so that they can come out with some more add-ons to it, because I would definitely look forward to those if they do come out. So thanks.